morning, afternoon, evening, as the case may be. I put up a video earlier this morning, kind of in response to something that someone else had put up. And I really didn't think through what I was doing. It was a knee-jerk reaction. 22 people watched that video, and to those 22 people I say, that's the way it really is. But it was a knee-jerk reaction. My point was not well stated, and it painted a different picture of who I am than who I am. So I've taken it down, and this is basically a redo. Hopefully I'll state my case a little bit better. I'll state right off the bat that I am not for any kind of gun registration or weapon registration at all. Period. End of story. None. And the reason that I'm not in favor of it, to some may sound silly, but I will give you supporting evidence. I looked at it the same way I do everything else. Our forefathers put into the Constitution that we have the right to bear arms. And the reason that they did that was so that government agencies would not take away the ability of the people of the country to protect themselves. Well, we're in an age of nuclear crisis and people running around with AK-47s in other countries, and it seems silly, some guy with a handgun or a couple little rifles, needs to worry about having his guns taken away and the ability to protect himself. Well, the government wouldn't do that, would they? Yes? It's sad to say the government would do that. Your own little municipality would do that and has done that. When Katrina hit, the police began, among other things, and nobody saw Katrina coming. Nobody knew it was going to get as bad as it did. But at any rate, the government in New Orleans started seizing weapons, even from law-abiding citizens who had those weapons. Not ones that were outside waving them around. Most of the people who were law-abiding citizens gave their weapons up, some of them begrudgingly. And in some cases, what they did was they went into a house that had been abandoned for all means and purposes and found legal weapons, and they confiscated those weapons so that they wouldn't fall into the hands of the number of thugs and hoodlums that were now running the street. And I think that's, reasonable. But that's not the only guns they seized. So, let's say you register your gun, and another episode happens like Katrina, where you live, and you're a person who believes in having a gun for protection. And the government states, the government in your community states, as they did in New Orleans, no one will be allowed to be armed except the police. So they come to your house, because your name's on the list, and they say, we need your guns. And now you're sitting in your house unprotected, because you're a law-abiding citizen, and you give them your guns. So it's happened in the past. And you have to think about the LA riots, when innocent people were pulled from their cars and literally beat to death. When stores burned. And some stores didn't burn. And some stores weren't looted. Guess why? That's right, because the occupants of those stores had guns and used them. The American people have a right to bear arms. It's in the Constitution. Read it for yourself. Second Amendment. Should they have to register their guns? Should they have to tell the government officials, hey, I've got a gun? I don't think so. I don't think so for that reason. I don't believe in it. So if I don't believe in it and I don't do it, that makes me a criminal. That's right. Criminals carry illegal weapons. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a violent guy. If someone comes in my house and endangers my family, I'm going to pull my gun. I'm going to fire my gun. And I think I have an innate right to do that. Signing my name to a piece of paper saying I've got a gun, and a situation coming up like it did when Katrina hit, or like the LA riots. Allowing someone to come in and take that gun away and stop me from protecting myself, it ain't gonna happen. I'll be a criminal. I'll carry my gun. And I think what upset me more than anything else about the video that I watched was just the suggestion that, well, you might know somebody who has an illegal gun, and you should report them. Just toast my biscuits. I won't meddle in your business, and you don't meddle in mine. That's the way I see it. So I'm not for gun registration. I'm not for making a phone call and saying, hey, this guy's got guns, and I'm pretty sure they're illegal. And I don't think that's a solution to anything. And you may be doing more damage than good. So that's my opinion, and that's why. I'm going to add some links to the description of this so you can go and see if what I say is true. I support you getting the facts. I have websites here from CNS News, Cyber Network News, I believe it is, CNN News, and the Washington Post. I'll also give you the NRA's database so you can see what the gun laws currently are in your location. It's a database by state, and I'll put that up as well. But to the person who made that suggestion, this is just somewhere that we disagree. I don't think you make the world a better place by stopping people from protecting themselves, or by possibly stopping them from protecting themselves. So that's what I have to say about it. My other video, I showed my weapons and taking out the knives that I carry when I go out of the house and the gun that I carry when I go out, and showed my registration card and that I'm legally carrying the gun. I won't register all of my guns. I won't do it. They come to my door and say, we need your gun, I'll give them that gun. And when they leave, I'll load another one. Because I will protect my family. I will protect myself. The Constitution says I have a right to. And the fact that I'm a human being gives me the right to protect myself. So that's where I fall on the issue. It may not seem like a very karma zen place to be. But remember, my blog is about balance in all things. Sometimes you have to make hard choices. And that's mine. Until next time, I wish you well.